Hey, what is this podcast, by the way? Is this like yours, or is this like about filmmaking, or what is it? What's tell me.
It's about filmmaking. We do loads of interviews with celebrities. We just build it up. We just realized when we done Zooms with quite a lot of actors that we just got on so well, and I was like, let's just make a show.
Oh,
So we made a show.
Yeah, worked out
interesting.
pretty well so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long you been doing it?
3 months, 4 months.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
roughly that.
Yeah.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah. It just
That's pretty,
happened.
yeah, nice. Congrats, guys. That's awesome.
Thanks.
I love to support young filmmakers. I think it's super cool, and it's such a hard road. And there's like very few people that I think like come out of the gate and like, oh, they're just an amazing writer or they're just an amazing actor. It happens every once in a while, but I think it's dangerous to compare yourself to those situations. Really dangerous and discouraging. And I know some people, like, for instance, I went to acting class for like 10 years straight. Like, post college, it's like I went back to college, and like 10 years of acting classes, like, pretty seriously. And looking back, I was like, I was not good. I was a really bad actor. And it's like, I got to work really hard to be okay. And then I see some people that are like, I never took an acting class. I'm just like naturally super talented. I'm like, okay, well, that happens. It's just really rare. I think it's a lot more often that the same thing for a writer. Like, right when I wrote my first script, I was like, I thought it was, of course you think it's good. You have to think it's good, because
Yeah.
you're not writing to write bad. You're writing to write to the best of your ability, right? And then you're increasing your ability. So, but yeah, I look back on my writing. It's the same as acting for me. It's like I did not have natural talent that I could get by on. Maybe some natural talent to get started, but man, it's all about the work you put into it. The more work you put into it, just like, my favorite analogy, you guys, in life, I've come to realize, because I have a hard time not anytime I have like give a talk somewhere, or so, talk to some group of people, whatever. I tend to use this analogy a lot because it's so good, but it's like building a bicep. Like, I go to the gym, I worked out, I went to the gym this morning, I lifted weights, and it's like, you could go to the gym for 20 hours. You can go to lift your guts out, and it's going to look exactly the same. Like, you're going to see no progress at all, right? But if you just chip away at it every day, and you flex that, and you make demands on it, and you do things that are hard, pretty soon you're going to turn around and go, oh, whoa, there's progress. Progress snuck up on me. And it's like, I feel like it's the same way. Like, it's a great analogy of life. The gym is a great analogy because it's a physical manifestation that you can see and measure and everything else. But it's the same concept of like line upon line, precept on precept. It's like over time, the progress will catch up to you, and you will eventually see that progress, Yeah. Okay, so tell me about your most exciting project you got going on right now. Is it the one that you guys are kind of collaborating on right now?
We're collaborating on 3, potentially
On
4
three? Oh,
projects. We're
okay.
filming one next Tuesday, and then we're continuing filming 2 weeks after for another one, 2 short films.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I
We're
love
just
short
constantly
films.
busy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
that's
busy at
great.
the moment.
That's great. That's terrific. Have you guys ever watched Mark Duplass's the speech he gave at South by Southwest?
No.
No,
Do me
not
a
that one.
favor. Do me a favor. Will you watch that and let me know what you think about it?
I'm gonna
It's
add
on
it to my list.
YouTube.
Will do.
It's on YouTube. It's about an hour long. I think it's like 52 minutes or something like that. And it says Mark Duplass, South by Southwest. He gives a talk there. And this is probably, seems like it's like 6 or 7 years ago, I think. So it's not too new, but not too old. But it's advice to filmmakers. And it's like the single best advice to filmmakers. And I like to bring it up to because he says it so well. And they talk a lot about, well, I know a lot of filmmakers that they kind of they say, like, if you want to flex that muscle, you make those short films, man. Make those short films. See what works. See what doesn't work. Hone that craft. But that's great. So, do you guys feel like you're writing partners, producing partners, or are you gonna like own a production company together? Have you
Probably all
thought
of them.
all
Yeah,
of them?
literally all of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We do
yeah. That's
everything.
cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's great. No, it's nice to surround yourself with like-minded individuals, people that are like hungry, passionate, aggressive and have good work ethic and stay positive, and all that stuff is so good. So
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
It's like a small network here. Everyone pretty much knows everyone because there's
Mhm.
not a lot of industry where we are, so we've got to create it for ourselves. So
Right.
that's what we're
Right.
doing.
Yeah, that's interesting. Huh. Yeah, a lot of not a lot of movie industry in the town you're in.
Practically
None.
none.
Yeah.
Mm.
There's been a few big named films filmed around here, but it's been like 10 plus years since something like that happened.
So what do you have questions for me, or what
Yeah.
what's your interest for me being here? I mean, I love being here. Very nice to meet Lee, Lola, always good to connect with you. But like, did you have something specific for me? What's the
Yeah.
agenda?
Yeah,
We're
Slee had
talking
Uh,
questions
about
listed up.
High School Musical because we love it and absolute nostalgia for it. Can't say anything. I've been listening to the soundtrack all day, so careers and advice. That's the
Okay.
topics.
Okay.
What was the audition process like for High School Musical? I think everyone wants to know this kind of thing.
Okay, what was the audition like for High School Musical? Well, I knew Kenny Ortega, our director, from Newsies, the movie Newsies, which was a Disney musical about paper boys in the 20s. And so I knew him from then. Kenny was just a young guy back then, and he was a family friend forever, and he was always supportive of my acting career. And I was on a TV series at Warner Brothers, by the way, right by ER. And he was just always so terrific, he's so great, and he watched everything I did and always like complimented me whenever he saw something I did that he really liked, which was terrific. It was terrific. And then um years and years later, this movie came up and he called me. I just got a random phone call one day from Kenny. He goes, listen, I'm doing this musical. Now, he'd already done big musicals. He did Newsies, he did Hocus Pocus, he'd done big things. And now he's going to do this Disney movie. And he said, hey, listen, I'm going to do this Disney musical. It's small, it's a musical, it doesn't have a name yet. We're just going to call it High School Musical until we figure out a name. No one will see it, but it'll be a lot of fun. We're gonna have a really good time. And I said, I'm in. I mean, first of all, I'm a big fan of Kenny Ortega. Everything he did was great. I love Newsies. Love Newsies. Love the soundtrack. And I saw how involved he was and how passionate he is about making movies. And I said, whatever you're doing and you think I'm right for it, you have a vision for it, I'm in. I'm like so in. So he had me go audition down at Universal Studios, which is right next to Warner Brothers, right down the street here. And I went to Universal and I read for all the people, Natalie Hart and Jason LaPadura, and for the people making the producers making the show. And a couple days later, I got a phone call back from Kenny, and he said, "What happened? You didn't get the part. You didn't get the movie." And I was like, "Oh, well." I don't. He's like, "Well, what did you wear? What'd you wear when you went on audition?" I was like, "A t-shirt, like jeans, like I don't know." Like he's like, "Listen, you're supposed to be Zac Efron's dad," and I'm like, "Who's that? Who's Zac Efron?" Back then, it was like Zac Efron wasn't a
Yeah.
big movie star. I didn't know how old it was. Is a kid. He's like in high school. He's high school. I'm like, I don't know. I don't have the script, so I have no idea how old I'm supposed to be. I don't know I'm supposed to be like 10 years older than I am in real life, and then I'm supposed to have like a teenage son. I was way too young for that role when I did it. And he said, listen, I'm going to get you back in there for another audition, but I want you to go put gray in your hair. Like I still don't have gray in my hair. He's like, put gray in your hair and wear a suit coat and go in there and act the age you're supposed to be. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I went, and my mom's a hairstylist in the movie business. So her friends are hair and makeup artists, and they did put some gray in my hair and aged me up a little bit. And I put on a suit and I walked in, and it was a lot more serious. And I did a screen test for the movie, and I got it. Called me a few days later and said, you got it. You're gonna go shoot this movie. So that was that. And then I got to the set, and they were gonna put gray in my hair. And he's like, no. You got the part already. You don't need gray in your hair now. It's fine. So that was it. And then this little musical turned into something historic and epic. And I was super lucky to be a part of it. I'm glad I had no idea that it was going to be a big deal, because I probably would have been a lot more nervous or worried about it. But it just seemed like a
Yeah.
little joke. Didn't seem like
Yeah.
any big deal at the time. And I love the cast and Zac Efron. All my scenes are with Zac Efron, and he's great. He's terrific, and he takes his work very serious, and he wants to do really great acting work. And he would rehearse the scenes, and he would be committed to the process. And it was cool. It was really cool. And all the kids were really great. But most of my stuff's with him, so that was a big part of my experience.
I
That's
was going to say there's a fact, because I don't know if you know this, but it was actually meant to be Grease 3, the script.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
like,
There was
no. Like,
yeah. There was yeah, I remember one of the producers that developed the show, Bill Borden, was telling me about that. And we were going to do another one. There was going to be a High School Musical 4, and it was and this is a long time ago, and there was a couple scripts written for High School Musical 4, and one of them I want to say was what's that called? West Side Story. It was like West Side Story. It was like a West Side Story version of High School Musical. So I thought that was going to be, I thought that'd have been really cool, but didn't happen, at least not yet.
yeah, I really hope it does happen. It just has to.
Yeah, would be fun.
Yeah.
What do you think Jack Bolton's backstory is?
Well, we know a little bit of Jack Bolton's backstory. They reference it a little bit in the movie.
Yeah.
There's a time when the team is trying to talk Troy Bolton into being a more committed part of the team, and they said, you forgot the original member of the Wildcats, and they pulled up a picture. Actually, they pulled up a picture of my nephew Darian. His name's Darian. The photo they pull up, that was my nephew that was playing me, which I didn't think he really, he's like blonde hair. He doesn't really look that much like me. But we were looking for someone in my family that, like, instead of just like a random picture, let's find someone in my family that looks like me. And he looked the most like me. But he's like, this is the original member of the Wildcats, is your coach. And when we shot, I don't know if they ever showed this or not, but in the rafters above our basketball court were the jerseys of all the star players and captains of the basketball team that won state in the past. And my jersey was up there. So there's like two, everybody knows the number 14 Bolton jerseys is Bolton and number 14. But I want to say mine was I think mine was number 21. Actually, maybe your viewers could tell you. Anybody that knows hardcore trivia, but there was another Bolton jersey. It was in the rafters, and it was mine from when I was a kid there, and we took state. Now, so those are the things that have been established. Those are facts. And so obviously I went to East High, won state, captain of the basketball team. So I kind of like have all that history. Now there's a lot of history that you can start thinking of that comes with it. One fan theory that I thought was pretty interesting was Darbus teaching, because Darbus is like 14 years older than coach, or no, 10 years older than the coach. So was Darbus the drama teacher when I was in high school? So was I Troy Bolton, a senior in high school, dealing with the drama teacher? And was there some history there? Like, why is there this conflict between the coach and the drama teacher? And does it go back to when she was a young teacher, when I was 18 in high school and she was in her 20s? Was something that happened there? And I don't let everybody's imagination run wild with that one. I don't know. I've heard a lot of different theories on what may have
That needs to be a spin-off. I want that as a spin-off.
We had there was a Coach Bolton Miss Darbus duet, a song in the
I
first
know that.
Yeah.
Dedicated and all.
They got it, then they got rid of it. That's too bad.
That is literally in one of the questions, and it was like, can you sing?
Can you sing?
Yeah. Yeah. I did High School Musical. I'm probably jumping too much here. Reel me in if I'm jumping too much, but I did High School Musical, the series, this year. Did you know
I haven't managed to see it yet.
I haven't seen it.
It's not out yet. I haven't seen it either.
I thought it was out.
No, I don't think it's released yet. It's season 4. season 4 High School Musical. I'm in it. And there's, gosh, I hope it's not out. No, I would have heard. No, it's not out yet. Can't possibly be. But it was fun to revisit all these things, and they talked about some storylines of like the coach coming back and finally getting his song. So that would be funny. I did audition, by the way, for a musical recently for the first time in years and years, just recently for a new movie. So we'll see.
Yeah. Like I'm
I
always
think it's
singing.
fun. I think musicals are fun.
Yeah,
I might play
they really
guitar.
are.
I actually
They
auditioned.
really are.
Got this guitar pick in my pocket because I just auditioned for this thing. I played guitar and sang for.
Oh my god, I'll literally have my ukulele and I normally bring it with us and it's
Oh,
downstairs.
I play the uke probably more than the guitar. I love the uke.
No, oh my
Yeah, I
god.
love it. It's the best.
I really
Especially
should have
when you're
brought it.
somewhere tropical, then it's like, oh, it's amazing. I was just in Hawaii last week. And it was
So
like,
Yeah.
oh, so great. Love it.
yeah, it's definitely like my favorite instrument and the only one that I can play fully.
Yeah.
Good for
Yeah.
composing.
Huh.
Yeah, that's it. Is it true the first movie was shot in less than a month? Because there's a lot of this going around and I don't know how true it is.
No, I think it was exactly a month. No, which is not unusual because Disney, like every Disney film that's made right now, Disney Channel, like a Disney Channel film, is usually 4 to 5 weeks. That's it. That's just standard. So this was not meant to be anything bigger than any other Disney movie. It was just another, it's supposed to be a one-off. There was not supposed to be a sequel. There was no 2 or 3, none of the setups. I mean, if you watch the movie, there's nothing in High School Musical 1 that hints or suggests there might be a continuation of a story. It's like, no, it's like, this is the movie. Like, it's done. Like, it's just this one. And then when it became a big hit, they're like, let's make some more of those. So, wow. What was your question again?
It's fine. No, just because people were like, "Oh, it was filmed in 24 days."
That much speed. Yeah. Now every one we did, they gave us more time because as a filmmaker, which I'm sure is you want more time. You want more money and you want more time. But if you had to choose one or the other, it'd probably be more time. But that costs more money.
It would be more money for us because we're doing no budget. We can't even get any money here. There's nothing to get. So
yeah. Well, and you can't have more time without more money because no one's going to work for free, of course. But let's see. I think it was. I'm gonna have to check. I'm gonna have to check on this one. I'm gonna have to get back to you. I think the first one was. Well, it's either the first one was 4 weeks, the second one was 5 weeks, and the third one is 6 weeks, or the first one was 5 weeks, the second one was 6 weeks, and the third one was 2 months. No, I don't think we ever got 2 months. We got more rehearsal time because the first one, I think there was only like 5 days rehearsal, and the second one was like 2 weeks rehearsal, and the third one was 3 weeks of rehearsal. So all the dancing and the basketball and like all the choreography and the games, everything had more time, which is amazing if you can get more time to rehearse all that stuff, and then on the day you're shooting, you can make it more interesting and have a little more time to get it right.
yeah. Do you feel you'll always be known as Coach Bolan?
Yes.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I'm totally fine with that. Like, I should be so lucky. It's a character that people are so nice about. They're so kind. And I've from the get-go, I embraced it. And I think after the movie, everyone wanted to move on. Like, okay, the movies are done, let's move on. Like, let's not talk about it, let's not spend time there, let's not hang out in the fandom. And I was like, screw that. Like, this is awesome. Like, the fans are great. Like, I'm gonna have fun with this. Like, I'm gonna like lean into it and do stuff in character and like make people laugh and get a crowd and make everybody have a really great time and yell some stuff. And like, it's the best. It's been the best. And I think everybody in the show, if I'm being honest, I think everyone was hoping that they were going to, launch into superstardom like Zach and Vanessa have, but all these years later, now I think everybody's kind of realizing for the first time, like, not everybody, most of the cast is realizing like, we were really lucky to have that. We didn't get that because we're so amazing and so awesome, and life is always going to be up here for us. So now I think people are like, oh, actually, I'm gonna talk about that a little more often, or I'm gonna, spend a little more time with, poking fun of that character, or giving that character some more life or something like that. But funny, I've been coaching my kids soccer. I've got kids, and I'm the volunteer coach for all their soccer teams. So I coach all three of my kids' soccer teams. Now, being a coach is like a part-time job. Being a coach on 3 teams, that's like a full-time job. So I've spent tons of time coaching soccer. Now, all around this part of LA, like this half of LA, when I drive down the street, people are like, hey, coach, hey, what's up, coach? And so now I never know if they mean Coach Bolton or coach like soccer. I've been their soccer coach because I've coached like 500 kids in this valley now, and they're all around yelling out. So I'm like, I don't know which coach you mean, but hey, I'm coach, man. I'm embrace it. Like, call me coach all day long. I love it. It's great.
Yeah, if they're in the 20s, it's most likely one
Yeah.
and not the other. That makes us feel old. Oh no. Scary. Do you have any behind the scenes stories? I've stole his question, but whatever.
Yeah, I'll just tick it off mine.
Well, Lee, that's a great question that you asked there. Is there any these? Gosh, I mean, nothing that I think people haven't had. There's a lot of pranks going on. There's like a lot of water balloon fights and water pistol fights. There's a lot of longboarding going on. I remember I used to go longboarding with Zach around Salt Lake where we shot the movies. I mean, not really any. I don't know. I mean, it was all, it's like, you're working all day, every day on that. So you live on set. And so it's like, whatever's happening is kind of happening on set while you're shooting these things. I remember shooting these things and, or shooting the scenes and realizing like, this movie's bigger than what we thought we signed up for. Like, we thought this was like a little Disney Channel movie, which is like, they make tons of little Disney Channel movies, like 12 a year or something like that. And they come and go, and some stick out, and some, there's like, Camp Rock, and there's this, there's that, there, whatever. And then every once in a while it's like, boom, like this one, or like Descendants, or like something that's like really big. And we didn't know. We had no idea. Nobody knew. And if anybody says they knew, they lie. That's not true. Nobody knew. But on the set, I remember we were shooting. This is one of my favorite moments on set, is we were shooting "Stick to the Status Quo." You know that song. So it's shooting in the cafeteria. And it was so big. It was so big. And Kenny Ortega, he's a genius. He directs like the opening closing ceremony of the Olympics with like 2,000 performers. Like, he's big. He does big, huge choreography with big, massive things. He has Paul McCartney on stage, and then 1,000 dancers over here, and people on stilts and balloons, like all crazy stuff. And so now here comes this guy that is just going to paint this auditorium, and there's stairs and there's tables and people doing flips and backflips and spins and all these dances, all this movement, energy and excitement, and like unbelievable dancing everywhere, but all like choreographed in this beautiful, not chaos, but like perfectly organized. And we're all kind of watching that. I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't normal. This isn't a normal movie. This isn't normal for this to be happening like this. This is crazy. And it was like, you should get these ideas that like, this is bigger than what we signed up for, what we realized. And so that's kind of my favorite stuff are those moments.
What was it like appearing in the series? Was it like really nostalgic?
Honestly, it made me cry when we all got together, and it was like, I wasn't expecting that, because like I've been back to that school before. I've been to East High, and like, oh, it's cool. Yeah, we shot that over there. Ah, that's cool. But then to be like in character, like in costume, wearing my coach clothes, and I look over and I see Corbin Blue, and I look over and I see Lucas Gabriel, and then Monique Coleman, and like Casey Stroh, my friend. And I'm like, well, Miss Darvis is there. I'm like, whoa. And then we walked in the auditorium. We walked into the basketball stadium, and it's like everything took place there. That's where prom was at, and that's where we won the state championship, and like all this, like the same exact stadium. And we walked in, it was decorated just like it was back then. It was like, oh, a flood of memories coming back. I'm like, oh my gosh. And we all went around in a circle. The director had us all stand in a circle and talk about like how special that was. And I totally choked up, started crying like a baby. I'm like, this is special. This is so neat. This is really, really cool. I've got a bunch of pictures and videos from set. I can't share them until we show those, until those episodes premiere. But when they do, I'll post all the behind the scenes stuff and everything. But it was special. It was really, really special.
Yeah, it's like that when we go back. Well, I've been back to my old school and stuff, and that's what it feels like. It feels like everything you can just see. It's like walking over your own grave. Yeah. Oh, well, I need to like that question. Do you think there'll ever be a reunion movie?
It's totally possible. It's totally possible. I think, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, no way. It's not gonna happen ever, because Zach and Vanessa are like, they're superstars, they're big stars, and they would be really hard to get. They'd be really hard to get. I think if the two of them were like saying, we're gonna do it, then it's like, okay, well then now it'd have to be a pretty special project. It'd have to be a different deal. It'd have to be a big Disney something real special in order to make it happen. But man, that would be so cool. It'd be great.
We don't even have Disney Channel here anymore. They took it off air completely.
Really?
Yeah, it's so tragic.
What's the story on that?
Well, Disney Plus came about, so they decided to take it off air, and there was no more Disney Channel here. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know if they just. I don't. It's all weird. It's all different and branded differently and weird.
Yeah, well, we're talking earlier about when they used to show music videos right in the middle of the adverts.
Yeah.
I love that.
I know.
It's the best.
So many memories about being like 14 and just watching it all the time.
Yeah.
Just getting home from school, immediately turn it on.
Yeah. Do you keep in touch with the cast?
Yeah, I see him every once in a while. I don't really. I mean, I did a movie with Lucas, and I really like his girlfriend. Is really, really cool. Hit off with her. We all got together and did this event in Paris last 2 years. We do like a little reunion, little Kenny Ortega reunion in Paris, and Lucas was there both times. Corbin was there last time. Vanessa was there, and met Vanessa's fiance, who's awesome. Love the guy. He's such a great guy. I'm so happy she's with someone so cool, and down to earth, and just a solid dude. It's so awesome. So yeah, I see those guys. I probably see Kenny Ortega the most, and then I see Casey Stroh a lot when we talk a lot.
I don't know.
Here's my advice. Here's my advice to anybody really that wants to do this is, do everything, especially things you have control over, because like being cast in a big hit Disney show, there's a million people that are going to audition for that role, and it depends on a lot of other people to make that decision, and the casting world's different. It's weird, they could pass on you because they don't like the color of your hair, or they didn't like the clothes you wore that day, or whatever it is. They remind you of their ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend, whatever. Like, it's like a million reasons why you could get rejected. And, so I would say, do Instagram, do TikTok, do everything you can do. Musically, do, audition, make short films, make feature films, make TV shows, make web series, everything you can. Pursue it all, and do everything in your control, and see where you find success, and push hard in that area. I always say, like, it's like acting and auditioning, it's like playing the lottery. Like you keep playing the lottery, you keep auditioning for those big ones, but you at the same time you don't wait, you don't sit by the phone and wait, because you can wait for the rest, you can wait your whole life. And a lot of people, I mean, if you look at the percentage, the unemployment rate for acting is like 3% of people like make over 12 grand a year, something like there's crazy number. It's a crazy number. of actors that are unemployed or like never make money. So it's like, you think about how many people that had a dream and they knew they were going to make it one day, and they just get older and older and older, and their life is over, and they retire and they're gone. And it's like, that's a large majority of people. So you have to realize that's what's at stake, and how hard you have to work, and how urgent you have to make this, and how aggressively you need to pursue these things. So that's my advice.
Yeah, I'll pass it on to her. I mean, she'll probably watch it anyway.
Okay,
Yes, you
good.
will.
Did you keep anything from the movies as a souvenir? We asked the question the other day to an actress whether a souvenir is ever kept.
Yes, let's see. I got well, we all kept our rings. I have my championship ring from when I won state champ. So it says Bolton 19 whatever. Like I think it says a year before I was born or something, or like a year when I was like 10 years old or something like that. So because I'm younger than I played. And then the clothes were terrible. I didn't want any of the clothes, like burn those things. The clothes are awful. And no, I mean, other than that, I mean, tons of photos and videos and things like that. But as far as memorabilia, I think like, I know Corbin kept the basketball he always carried around the whole entire movie. He kept that basketball. He still has that. Everybody still has their ring. And, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. I don't think I have anything. I don't think I have anything else. Crew jackets and things like that don't appear in the movie, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Lee, your turn.
Right, well, a few of the main ones have been said, but I think the first one's been answered, but it'd still be good to hear the full explanation. When you were making the film, did you think it would be as successful as it turned out to be, like full-on franchise, globally known?
No, nobody did. Nobody did. They treated it like any other film. They treated it like any other Disney film. There was no special treatment, no special budget, no special like time frame or resources put in the movie. Nothing. Matter of fact, or even after we made the movie, they didn't treat it like it was something special. Our premiere for High School Musical 1 was at a little tiny theater on the back lot of Disney Studios. So you could bring like a guest, and like it was no big deal. It was like nothing. They had like one poster set up in the lobby. They didn't even have a photographer there taking pictures. I have pictures from that I just took myself, but it was raining. I remember it was raining that day, and I drove my motorcycle, and so like I got like a wet shirt on with spots all over it, and I'm like taking pictures with Zach in front of the sign, like, hey, it's our movie, yay. No big deal. Like it was nothing. And it wasn't until the movie premiered, and it was like everybody started getting excited about it. But everybody was totally floored when the movie premiered, and the next day it was like the biggest news in Hollywood. Like in Hollywood, out of everywhere in Hollywood, the biggest story was High School Musical, a little Disney Channel, little tiny movie, just premiered to 18 million people. Wow. Not with special press, wow. Not with special advertisement or more commercials, nothing special, just boom, blew up. 18 million people watched that movie on the first go around. It was changed everything. It was crazy.
It's insanity.
Wow.
I couldn't even think of like, I couldn't even count to that number.
I know.
It's a crazy number. It was by far the most viewed cable movie in television history. So it was biggest news ever. It's crazy.
Yeah. Lee, have you got any other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to end on the rest.
Who would you say is your favorite character from the series?
Favorite character? Well, I mean, I guess I would say Troy Bolton. I loved his passion and his his courage, and like if I'm being serious, if I'm being a serious answer, and I'm in a serious mood, it's like someone that he really embodied taking the journey and making the hard decisions and dealing with a very stern dad that was giving him the business. And I love playing my character, because usually when you do a movie like this, you either play the basketball coach who's like hard-nosed, teaches you some hard lessons, or you play the parent who's loving and supportive and things like this. Well, playing both characters, like I find myself constantly like kind of torn in the middle. Well, I'm gonna make sure he understands, you know, be the discipliner. I'm gonna push this kid. I'm gonna challenge him, but then I also want to be supportive. I want to be, you know, I want to walk that fine line. So I couldn't come in like a wrecking ball, but I couldn't be too soft. So I'm like, and then to see how he navigates that and makes all the right decisions and always does the right thing, I think is really great. I love Vanessa Hudgens in my heart. I just love her so much. I just think she's so special and so cool. She means a lot to me. But probably Sharpay is the funniest. I think she's like, I love that her, just the attitude. And she's like, at the end of the day, she really just, yes, she's about herself and promoting herself, but she does bring her brother along. How many sisters do that? And she does want Troy to be like, you know, put him up in front and help him out and get him the blah, blah. I'm getting too serious about this kind of stuff, but she's actually a really good soul. And a lot of people think that she's actually the hero of the movie. There's a lot of fan theories that Sharpay's the hero. She's the one really trying to help people. So kind of interesting.
Yeah, I forever love Sharpay, always have, and everyone says I'm just like her. Like Lee says it all the time, and everyone else.
Oh yeah, I can see it. I all the time.
Hey, she's got to be the most likely to succeed. Sharpay is like, she is on fire, man. She is committed.
Hopefully I'm that committed. Although sometimes I'm like, you know what, I think I'm gonna quit. Yeah, I'm not gonna quit, I don't think. So, Lee, have you got any other questions?
How often would you say you speak to the people, the actors from that film?
You know, I don't know. I mean, message everybody, just kind of check in. Most people. Kenny lives really close to me. Like he's just a little ways away. And I've, you know, he's a really good family friend. So we want in touch. But I don't know. It depends. You know, when there's events, I always bump into somebody from the cast, always, like, and it's always like, hey, it's like bumping into family members, you know, because it's like such an important part of our history now and our lives. So quite a bit, I guess. Probably not as much if I didn't live in LA, but quite a bit.
Who would you say was the most fun to work with?
Most fun. Zach. I mean, yeah, and that's why I really one of the big reasons, maybe the main reason that I like this movie so much is that he's a really great guy and he's really funny. He's a great dancer, even, but he's most importantly, he's a really good actor and he's really serious about his craft and he really wants to do good work. And I really appreciated that. And he didn't take this job lightly. You know, he's like, I don't care if this is, you know, movie with Martin Scorsese or if there's a Disney Channel movie. I don't care. Like, I want to do the best job I can. And he kind of approached that way. And then he became my workout partner. We go to the gym together and that dude crushed it. That guy worked out as hard as anyone I've ever worked out with. And I just always really admired that drive and that work ethic. So when he came out of Baywatch looking the way he did, I was like, I'm not surprised. I worked out with that dude. I know how hard he works out. Like, that is no surprise to me at all. That dude works hard. So, Zach, he's my boy.
Awesome. I didn't know he was that dedicated. Like, now when I hear him talk about like the films he's in, I can tell like, yeah, he puts work into the character. But like back then, I wouldn't have thought like, oh, he's took this like as serious.
He was young. He was a kid. But still, yeah, he had that dedication and really wanted to do great work as a kid. I don't even know how old he was when that first movie. I look at some of those pictures of how young he was. I'm like, dang, man, he was just a young little guy and really dedicated.
Oh, well.
Because we do have a lot of similar questions.
You guys were amazing. You guys worked well together. The conversation flowed. You're easy. This is good.
Okay, so on Korea, I really want to mention NCIS because we both absolutely love the show. Like, it is one of our favorite. And 911 Lone Star, which I really need to catch up with because it just wouldn't stream. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely love them both. Like I love so
Yeah,
many.
NCIS is fun. That was fun. I worked with I did 2 of the NCISs. I did NCIS Los Angeles with Chris O'Donnell and LL Cool J. And LL Cool J is like, I'm a big fan of LL Cool J since I was a little kid. So working with him was awesome. I loved it. And then NCIS was great. Mostly it was a fun character. I'm really a bad guy in that movie, in that show. But the lead is Mark Harmon, of course. And Mark Harmon, his wife, Pam Dauber, who was on a TV series with Robin Williams called Mork and Mindy, which is way before your guys' time, but is one of the greatest TV shows ever. And my mom was the hairstylist on that movie. So I knew Pam Dauber
Wow.
when I was a tiny little kid. I mean, like before I could talk. But I remember being on that set and hanging out back then, back in the day. So when I moved to Hollywood after college, or like when I dropped out of college, really, I didn't know anybody in Hollywood. I didn't know anybody who lived here, 0 people. And I had one phone number, it was to Pam Dauber. And I called her and she said, okay, you know what? I'm going to send you to go see my friend. And I want you to go see Terrence Hines, this manager. And so she sent me over there, and Terrence Hines said, do this monologue. Here's a monologue. I want you to come back and do it. I'm like, okay, I learned it, came back and I did it. And he's like, I'm signing you right there, right? Sign me there on the spot, and took me out and got me all my agents and everybody. And he was my first manager. So it was fun to see Mark Harmon and be able to say, hey man, thanks for the life of like all these jobs and getting to live a life as an actor. And it's your wife kind of started me out. And I really appreciate that so much. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to be able to have that conversation with him.
Yeah, it sucks that he left the show though. Like
He's
it
still
was,
executive producer.
yeah, but it's not the
That's
same.
it isn't. Yeah. I mean, Gary Cole. I like his character, but he's no Gibbs.
No,
Oh, it's tough. That's a tough one to. Gibbs was
yeah.
awesome.
I was gonna say,
Sad.
fun fact: Zac Efron was in an early NCIS episode just before High School Musical. He played
Wait,
a teenager with a phone that they had tracked, where they had called some kind of call hotline, and Ziva got
oh,
the phone off him and everything,
Oh my
and he
God, I
got
don't
interviewed.
remember them series. That's why.
I think it
uh,
was series 3. I think.
Yeah, that's probably why. Is there a character type you've always wanted to play? Why do I think the hardest questions?
That is pretty tough, Laura.
I love the variety of, I did my first horror film a couple years ago, and I'm not really a big horror film fan, but when I did that role, I was like, wait a minute, hang on a second. Maybe I am a big horror film fan, because for an actor to be in a horror film, you think about like a horror film and it's like, whatever. Yeah, okay. I respect the genre and everything, but it's not like, it's not anything I'm pursuing. But then when you do it, you realize like everybody's about to die. Like the stakes are really high. So as far as like acting goes, you get to play some very intense characters in very intense situations. And it's actually great acting. It's great. It's super fun for actors. So I'm like, that's the biggest surprise character I never thought I'd want to play. But like now I'm like, okay, let's go. That's
I
fun.
love horror. Horror is like
Yeah.
my favorite genre.
Oh,
And
really?
Lee's as
Yeah.
well. I normally
I'm
have Chucky
sitting
in my room.
yeah. I'm sitting in front of 340 odd horror films all stacked up. My horror collection is massive.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
my merch collection's also massive, which is
Yeah.
not here. So, do you prefer guest starring or being a regular?
No, being a regular is awesome. Being a regular is amazing. It really is. If you're on a good show. I was on a regular when I was doing that show at Warner Brothers, and this is something that you don't think about, is that when you're a regular, imagine you get cast as a regular on a TV show where it's a story about a family, and it's like, Lola, if it's you and you're the daughter, and then you've got, a younger brother, and maybe you got parents and whatever, and it's like, okay, that's cool. But then you realize, you get on set, you're like, oh, that means there's no one there your age. There's not, you don't have like a bunch of friends there. They're like, you're friendly with them, sure. But if you're like in a show that was like about college, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, now 10 people on this show, a series regular, are all your age. That's fun. That's super fun. Cause then it's like, you got a crew, you got your friends there. So that's you know, you can imagine, like, well, same with you, Lee, like you're college age too. You guys could both play college age. You guys get cast in a college age thing. It's like, oh, this is pretty cool. Or, you know, whatever. Like if I get cast in something that has a bunch of people my age on it, it's like, oh, it's fun, man. That's really cool. As opposed to like when I first got cast in High School Musical, it was kind of funny because it was like, ooh, these guys are all a little younger than me. It was like too young, too much younger than me. Like I'm not gonna really go pal around with everybody. I'm a little too old for that. Now that everybody's kind of grown up, it's different. But back then it was like, you know, but I like the variety of a guest spot's awesome, but series regulars super fun.
Do you create like a backstory for your characters to like
Oh yeah.
create dimension? Because sometimes you don't get any backstory and you're like, why?
Yeah. No, it's good. It's common. You know, especially if you're doing a guest star or something like that. They don't have time to do that. So you get to do it and you get to make it interesting, and which is kind of fun because you can, you know, give your character any kind of backstory you want. You decide what works best for you.
Yeah. What do you look for in scripts? What makes them stand out?
Well, if it's a well-told story is really nice, you know, for a lot of reasons. One, the characters are going to be more interesting and more thoughtful. Like the more thought you put into a script, the better the story's going to be, the better the character's going to be, the better the conflict's going to be, the better the texture and everything else. And the film's going to do better. It's going to get distribution. People are going to see it. It's going to make, you know, it's going to get into film festivals, it's going to get into theaters and things like that. So it matters a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What I've noticed is like a lot of people, just because of like the amount of like shows everyone wants now, everything is just rushed so much that there's hardly any like backstories. There's not really much character development. I don't know if it's just here, but yeah, it's kind of disappointing, and everything just gets cancelled.
Yeah. Sometimes people just move too fast or following trends or something, and you just wanted good stories.
Yeah. I always write the good stories, I would say that. Oh, I haven't wrote today and I just feel withdrawal from it. I miss
Big
it so
issue I
much.
think with the shows today is character development. They're just one-sided. You know, you don't get much like see the character improve. It's just the same kind of person each episode, which can put you off the characters.
Yeah. It's true. Well, it's, you know, it's a lot more work, you know, like it's like all these movies that don't have a third act, and it's like, oh, you know, we wanted to, you know, we don't want to just be a traditional third. I'm like, yeah, you wanted to be lazy because third acts are hard. Like that's why you didn't want to write a third act. You didn't write a third act because they're really, really hard. Not everybody can write a third act. Anybody can write a setup. You write the story in the middle, but to wrap it all up and like have these characters do something or go somewhere or like be resolved, like that's hard. So yeah, that's why you didn't write a third act, you lazy sucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lazy writing these days, and just
Well, it's hard. It is very time consuming.
Yeah, choose the good ones, Lola.
Although I gotta say, you guys' questions have been terrific. Like I've done a bunch of these podcasts with a lot of people, and for half this much time, and the questions are half as good. So you guys have had like good quality questions and a lot of them. So I think it's like, you know, kudos to you guys for.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If you could work with any actor, who would it be?
You know, there's so many. There's so many. I mean, there's serious actors. I would, you know, I love to work with Daniel Day-Lewis. I love to work with, you know, Robert De Niro. I've always, like, ever since I was a kid, I want to work with Robert De Niro. But I don't know. There's, you know, there's comedians that I really like to work with too. You know, I'd really like to work with Danny McBride. Like, I think he's really fun. I think Vince Vaughn's really funny. There's a I don't. There's a lot. I really think more about directors. You know, I would love to work with like Wes Anderson. I'd love to work with Martin Scorsese or Quentin Tarantino or some, you know, someone like cool like that. I love to work with David Russell. I think his movies are amazing. Like I love his work. So when I start thinking about actors, I'm like, yeah, there's tons of people I like to work. Directors, though, I get excited thinking about that. Like, oh man, To work with like a really great director like that would be amazing.
Tell us a fact about yourself that most people wouldn't know.
See, these are good questions.
I know.
I have a lot of people that want me to become a life coach, and I've considered it for a long time, just to like have a coaching, like to be a life coach on the side and do a whole like series of videos, you know, giving people life advice. And I think about doing it sometime. I do it already. I do it to my friends that are struggling, my friends that are on the way to thriving, young married couples and people that are married forever and all sorts of people. And I enjoy it and I love it. And I think maybe I might do it on a bigger scale. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Last two questions.
All right.
What's the best way to prepare for being on set for the first time?
Yes, good one.
I'm going to say something that's not easy. And that's preparation. That's not only knowing your stuff, not only knowing your material. You know, I always feel like once you memorize your lines, then you can start working on your part. Learn your lines, memorize line, what you figure out what you're going to say. If you're working with people that are real sticklers on word for word, learn a word for word, and then really start to think about your character and how you want to feel and what you're feeling in these things. And what do you want to do in this scene? What's your objective? What are you going after in the scene? What do you want from your other scene partner? And internalize it and bring it down deep. And also, here's the most important part. Here's the most important, and here's the hardest one. Prepare by doing it a lot. Put in the time. So you guys make a short film, pull out a camera, and you make your films, do that a bunch. And then as you get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, it'll get, you know, the more, you know, it's like if you do if I were to go do a short film right now, I'd walk outside and there's a short film and there's 5 people there, 20 people there. I'd be like, no problem. Like, give me a script. Okay, whatever. 100 people there. Okay, now it's a little, yeah, I just did Quantum Leap. And it's like, there's 100 people sitting there, standing there watching you, you know, they're like all watching you do your performance. You do. Now, I was fine. I'm totally fine. Now, if I were to go do a big fat movie and there's 300 people watching you and you're working with these incredible actors, incredible directors, and it's like, oh, geez, man, you feel the pressure. You feel the pressure. So there's all this range of pressure and intensity. And there's the bigger the set, the more nervous you get. And you want to be, I've kind of come to realize that, like, if you do your work and you've put in your time as an actor, your performance is really based on how comfortable you are in front of the camera. Aside from all that work, that all that work is one thing. And that's not to take away from any of this stuff. This is super important to do it. But there's this other thing of like, can you just be natural? Can you just act natural and not be in your head, not thinking about that camera's over here? No. You're just thinking about your own character's thoughts. And you can't do that if you're nervous. You're like, you know, I got to breathe, you know, like, you know, you can't be thinking about it. So you got to be comfortable. You got to be cool. You got to be just thinking about like, what are you doing in this scene? And then you can act, and then you can have a good acting performance.
Shy Ben's getting out.
Wait, say again.
Shy Baines getting
out.
Shy Ben's?
Yeah,
Shy.
Ben.
Yeah.
Ben's means kids.
Oh, Shy Ben's. Okay.
Like Shy Ben's.
Nothing, basically.
Yeah.
Shy kids get nothing.
If you don't ask, you don't get, essentially.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So always ask for followers at the end, because
okay.
I'm collecting followers.
All right, that's good. That's good. Yeah. Mostly because I like the expression. Shy Ben's getting out.
Just
getting out.
Oh, getting out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get wrong for saying that because my grandparents say Shy Ben's getting e-broth. Yeah.
Ben's his kids?
Yeah. I don't know if it's just Northeast.
I think it is. I don't think they say that down south.
Ben's. I love it. I just, you know, it's like, it reminds me of watching some of those shows, the TV shows from your guys' country. And I'm like, what do they say? What?
Yeah.
What the heck does that mean? There's no indication. There's no indicators in that phrase that I could connect to and go, oh, I know, I could figure it out. It's like, no, that's awesome. Okay. I love it. Well, you guys, thanks for having me on the show.
No
Thank
problem.
you for being here as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
You've been
let me
fantastic.
know. I want to, let me know when you guys have something I can watch. I want to see your short films. I want to,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be your big audience. I'm gonna be a big fan of you guys as filmmakers. So expect big things from you guys.
Yeah. I'll send you them
Yay.
at some point.
For bed, you
Bye.
guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for the
Thank you.
fun. All
Bye.
right.
Thank you.
Bye.